Okay, and really DJ Premier isn't necessarily a backpacker producer. I mean, he just makes street bangers, okay? But the reason why he's number one is this. If somehow 2012 happened and, you know, I was the only survivor, okay, of the end of the world, right? And there were some other people who wanted to know about hip-hop, and they wanted me to play for them what does this hip-hop sound like, I would, without question, play them a beat from DJ Premier. Okay. It would have to be, because DJ Premier's, I mean, his style doesn't really change a lot over the years. It really doesn't. Okay. But I mean, it's those crazy head nodding bangers. You just it's like heavy metal for hip hop. That's what his production is, man. All right. DJ Premier's style is like heavy metal for hip hop. And what makes DJ Premier's style so dope is that you can get people who are not traditional hip hop artists over his beats, and they'll sound dope. Limp Bizkit, Christina Aguilera, they have DJ Premier beats. Okay. Incredible, man. So that's my top 5. RZA LP being number 5, number 4 Pete Rock, number 3 Dr. Dre, number 2 J Dilla and Madlib, and number 1 DJ Premier. Kid, want to take it over from there?
Well, the really funny thing is, I think everybody on your top 5 is on my top 5.
No way.
Number 5.
At number 5.
5. I had the RZA.
Okay, at number 5. Now,
at number 5. Now let me touch on a couple things that you know that I think the same reason that you love the RZA. I think I love the RZA. The RZA is gritty. You know, that's the one thing that we all love about the RZA. Yep. It was, and the reason why I love these producers, not so much that they produced classics or produced classic albums. But I use a theory I call the thumbprint theory. You know, they left their print on the industry or his music in a whole. They created a type of sound that, look, if somebody else used a type of music, you can say, okay, well, they took such and such's music and they took it a step further. And I think that's what people took the RZA's music and they took it a step further. I mean, if you want to take a look at the RZA, like you said, he was the backbone of the Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, just his style and just his gritty type of way of production. I mean, he's done music scores for Kill Bill. Right. I mean, Quentin Tarantino was feeling the RZA. I mean, that's how.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention the whole thing about the movie scores that the RZA's done. I mean, and that's why, in fact, and I mentioned that the LP was also my tie for number 5 with the RZA. They have very similar production style too. Also, I find myself listening to a lot of DJ Muggs. He sounds a lot like the RZA. They have very similar production style, man.
I mean, he sounds like the RZA with like a little bit of funk sprinkled on it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's like the West Coast RZA. If the RZA had a West Coast style, he would be DJ Muggs.
Right. Now, I mean, it's like love the RZA. Moving on. My number 4 was J Dilla. I love J Dilla. I mean, and the thing was, I didn't know I was that much of a J Dilla fan until like maybe a few months ago when I realized, like, wow, J Dilla did that. J Dilla did that. J Dilla did that. Yeah. Wow,
J Dilla did that. I've said that how many times? I mean, because like it wasn't that many years ago when I really realized that Running by the Far Side was done by J Dilla. Right. Get a Hold by Tribe Called Quest off of the Beat, Rhymes, and Life album. J Dilla. No, not to mention just tons of just underground artists out the D. I would have really loved to see, because it's a Detroit thing, I would love to see Eminem and J Dilla hook up and do an album together.
Really? You think that would be a collabo?
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, I don't care what Eminem says, he a Detroit MC.
True that.
And Detroit, and production wise, that's what J Dilla's a Detroit, producer, straight up. And speaking of, I'm digressing to it, but I just read too that I guess Eminem and DJ Premier are going to get together and do some
really
music, man. That would be crazy. But
I have goosebumps. Yeah. My number 3 was DJ Premier.
Yeah.
Now Primo.
How is he only 3?
Well, he's only 3 because I just don't hear a lot of, maybe because I don't hear a lot of Primo lately. Maybe that's why he was to number 3. But maybe because my number 2 have just overpowered him a little bit. But Primo stays in my memory just as from Gangstar, and just to hear Primo cut.
Oh,
back in the day.
That's why I love him. But he's still a traditional hip hop artist. You need to have a hook with Premier. Let me say my 16 bars and let Premier handle the hook by just cutting, and let him go back to my 16.
I dare anybody. I dare somebody to cut like DJ Premier. I mean, I used to have a DJ who would sit there for hours and try to copy a DJ Premier cut. Yeah. I dare anybody to go back and try to copy a DJ Premier cut.
And just to your point a little bit about the DJ Premier, and you haven't heard a lot from him lately. Underground, man. He does. I have a ton of stuff. You'll hear it on the mixtape done by Premier. Fat Joe has a Premier produced joint on his new album. You know, I'm Gone, which is actually done. It was actually done the night that Guru passed away, by the way.
Oh, yes,
that's why it sounds like that.
Yeah, rest in peace, Guru.
Yeah, rest in peace, Guru. But yeah, Premier has done I mean, oh my God, Premier has a bunch of stuff that's on people's albums right now, man. So he's still in the game.
Oh well, I'm sure he's still in the game, but I just haven't. You just haven't been in the forefront. Just hasn't been on my mind lately. Okay. But anyway, but like I said, people bubbling to the top that are always going to be in my mind. Bringing up my number two. Pete Rock. I'm sorry.
That's
Pete
interesting.
Rock.
Okay,
Pete Rock, and plus his logo was always sweet with the dude.
Yeah, with the afro.
Yeah, that logo was always so sweet.
I love it.
Now Pete Rock. Now the reason I picked Pete Rock, and I mean that was actually a very hard decision for me. Who was going to be my number two, Pete Rock or Premier? I think I picked Pete Rock to be my number two because I think in the 90s, if Pete Rock touched your music and remixed it, it was an ultimate, like it was like, almost like Touched by Angels or something like that. If Pete Rock remixed it and then dropped the verse,
and he couldn't even really rhyme, but he sounds dope.
Exactly.
Because like that's Down with the King by Run DMC.
Oh my goodness,
he sounds dope as heck, man.
Because he had that. Because you're right.
You know, because he off beat a little bit when he rhymes.
Exactly.
He's talking, rhyming, kind of.
Because he sounds half like not really there. But his beats are so
Boy
dope.
Wonder, what's up?
But he had that really deep voice.
Yeah.
Almost like he wasn't even paying attention to the beat so much.
Exactly.
Almost like he was just having a conversation with the beat.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, yo, I'm going to bust this like quick 16 real quick. And then he was just drop it like he wasn't paying no attention to the metronome.
Right.
And he was just dropping it right.
Like he rhymed like I'm gonna drop this 16 real quick. And it's it.
Like you just put down the headphones and be like,
that's it. Yeah, I'm a rhyme.
Like the engineer was like, Pete, you want to do that again?
Yeah.
He was like, nah, son, I'm good.
It is what it is.
yeah, exactly. It is what it is. But if Pete Rock touched your, like we were talking about earlier, with the Shut 'Em Down remix, with several remixes that he did in the 90s, if he touched your music, it was just done and over with. It was a rap. It was a hit, and it was done and over with. That's why Pete Rock was my number two.
I'm rocking at Pete Rock right now in my head listening to it. I'm like, oh, man.
I got a Pete Rock remix in my car right now.
Yeah.
But moving on, my number one is, and you might not like this, is the one and only Dr. Dre.
Oh, I don't diss. I can't argue with you.
And Dr. Dre is my number one because of his longevity and because, of his classic status on top of that. It's because he comes from the world-class Wrecking Crew to NWA, to his solo status, to The Chronic, and he's still making music to this day. Right. Well, kind of, sort of. But
he does. It's kind of like he's doing kind of what Premier does a little bit. They make cuts for other guys. You don't see them just blessing the entire album like they used to. Although, Detox by Dr. Dre should be coming out shortly. Not every single thing that Dre's ever put out has been incredibly dope to me. But at the end of the day, when Dre's on, it's like nobody can really touch the dude. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
Let's look at it this way. Yeah. Okay, he was hot in the 80s.
Right.
Okay, he was hot in the 90s.
Right.
We're well into the 2000s.
Right.
And I just saw a commercial with Dr. Dre in it yesterday.
With them headphones.
Yeah. and so you got cats right now with their laptops, looking at a commercial with Dr. Dre, and he's obviously recognizable, saying, "Well, I got to buy this product." You know what I'm saying? So that is. And plus you got underground heads that are looking at it, but wow, I gotta buy them headphones. No matter what kind of music you're listening to.
Because he's an audio guy. When you think of Dr. Dre, you think of sound.
Exactly.
Straight up. I mean, bottom line.
Dr. Pepper commercials, he's doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, no matter what kind of music you're listening to, Dr. Dre is the man.
Absolutely.
And I think that is. I mean, Dr. Dre, it's a wrap.
Absolutely.
My number one producer.
Absolutely.
Yo, honorable mentions real quick before we
got some honorable mentions, man. You know, I was thinking about the first group or production group on my honorable mention. I thought of them because we were talking last week about the Rick Ross album. And I wonder, why is Rick Ross's album so dope, and why does the Justice League do such a good job producing his music? You know why? These guys sound a lot like... I mean, if you listen to Rick Ross's album, you know what it reminds me of?
What that?
Outkast's album, kind of, back in the day.
Okay.
You know, that type of real soulful, southern, music that...
Like they're mixing up in the dungeon?
Yeah, that type of thing, man. Okay. Anyway, organized noise. Because in the late 90s, early 2000s, Kuminai, Outkast. The Outkast ran... the early 2000s, late 90s for the South anyway. Moving on, the Bomb Squad, Public Enemy's album, they would probably be in my top 5.
The Bomb Squad,
Public Enemy's production group.
Right.
They might have been in my top 5 had they been a little bit more active on a production tip.
Okay.
They've done, obviously, It Takes a Nation of Means to Hold Us Back. Classic album. America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube. That's also Bomb Squad. So we just talked about that. I got to give it to Just Blaze too.
Okay.
And, here's my big problem with Just Blaze. Why
Just Blaze?
Top 5. Like when his beats are on, they're hot. Like Exhibit C and that type of thing. But I can't really point to any Just Blaze album that he totally produced and be like, that's a classic album. Even the beats he's put on other people's albums have been with other strong producers on it. That said, a guy who probably will be in my top 5 eventually. Okay. And you could argue him being in top 5 right now is Kanye West.
Okay.
College Dropout. Classic. You know what I'm saying? You can argue that maybe his next album was probably a classic or at least very, very good. And I think sometimes Kanye's personality precedes him a little bit, but we're actually getting to the nuts and bolts of who he is. He's a great producer. I think he's exceptional. And quiet as it's kept, real quiet. Because he's been getting on people's verses, killing people right on their own verse. Right. And also another group that I'll put on my top 5. Okay. Is a group that kind of ran the 90s, and that's the Beat Miners.
The Beat Miners.
Yeah, the production group.
I've been sleeping on them actually.
Yeah, that's Black Moon's production crew. And they also led kind of the underground with this whole sound bombing compilations. They did a lot of joints on that too. And when Black Moon albums would come out, Bucks, the Smith and Wesson album, the Representatives, Helter Skelter, and all them guys. That's the Beat Miners, man. That's all Beat Miners, man. DJ Evil D, them cats, man, incredible. So those are my honorable mentions. If I didn't mention you on here, that means you weren't good enough.
Yo, honestly, honorable mention.
Yeah.
Gotta mention my man Woo.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention my man Woo. You too, man. You too. You can honorable mention next week.
Okay.
Yo, also gotta hit us. Hit us up with your list, your top 5 producers, man. Hit us up on the Cipher Crew on Facebook, man.
Right.
If y'all don't hit us up yet, hit us up on Facebook. We are the Cipher Crew. Hit us up on Kid and Muff 44 on Gmail. That's Kid and Muff 44 gmail.com, son. Are we out?
Peace, yo.
Peace. Cipher, baby. Forsaken Entertainment, son.